This conference will now be recorded.
70 degrees. It was like line. That line gave us same old way it comes down.
All right, I got 6 o'clock. All right, we will call this meeting to order. If I could get everybody, please stand up, remain standing. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Caldwell, would you please honor us?
Dear most gracious and heavenly Father God, we thank you, dear Lord, for bringing everyone safely here this evening, dear Lord. We pray that your will be done in everything that occurs in this meeting, dear Lord, that you will watch over, bless, and protect all who are here and bring them all home safe and sound when this meeting is adjourned. And we pray this prayer to you in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen.
And we'll have a moment of silence for our neighbors who may have passed away, one of which was Shelby Brown. All right, thank you so much. Glad to see everybody here. If you would, at this time, please check your phones. Make sure you got them on vibrator off, would even be better. And I will ask if any of the commissioners have a conflict of interest with anything on the agenda tonight. If so, please make it known now. And with no conflicts, we'll move right on down the line. First up is the adoption of the agenda as it is.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Next up is public comment. We didn't have anybody signed up. Nobody called in. Okay. Moving right along. Next up is the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Okay. John seconds. Okay, all in favor? Thank you.
Is Gina introduced the finance director this time?
I can't remember for either way.
Right now, we good.
Good, you ready? Please. All right. Jeff Sleepy is sitting in the audience with us tonight. Jeff joined us. He is a spent a lot of years in the private sector and former finance director for the town of Hope Mills. Jeff is a North Carolina licensed CPA and has been with us here a couple of weeks now and is already making positive change, and we're excited to have him.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Next up is the Bayshore Boat Ramp Marina RFP.
All right, I've spoken to all y'all about this. In the last meeting, y'all directed me to put out a request for proposal for building a marina at Bayshore Boat Ramp that the town recently purchased. If you'll see in your packet, the request for proposal is there, and in front of you is bid tabulation for those bids that we received for this. If you look at it, we bid it as a base bid. The base bid is building a 10-slip marina. We have indications from coastal management that 9 permanent slips and 1 temporary slip would be feasible to permit. So that base bid is for that 10-slip marina. You see that we received 3 bids for that. And then you have alternate 1. Alternate 1 is for adding water and power to those slips. So power that could power boat lift potential. And then alternate 2 is for the construction of, and all of these add up across, and you'll see the notes on the bid tab below. All of the alternate 2 is for adding town-owned boat lifts, 13,000-pound boat lifts to those slips. Be glad to answer any questions that you have about this.
What was their hypothetical timeline?
So the contract was for 120 days. So just as a timeline, we will pursue permitting or drawings for this. this. With it being a commercial, with really any dock now has to be engineered. Used to be just commercial, now it's any. So we'll have, we'll go out and get engineering to add this 5, of course, with the procurement of the facial boat ramp. We got a camera permit that does have drawings for 5 there now, so we would amend that and then try to amend that camera major permit to include 10. So I wouldn't plan on issuing notice to proceed until we had that in hand. And then they have 120 days from notice to proceed.
Gene, I see this as a very positive way to create some revenue through user fees. I prefer to go full board, put the whole package in there and get them rented out as soon as possible with a potential probably around $80,000. Do you agree with that figure?
Yes, sir. It should be close to that.
Okay. I don't see any problem of filling those lifts. They fill up fairly quickly. So that said, I'd like to go ahead and put a motion on the table for the commission to consider. Make a motion to award the bid to Sand Dollar Construction to build the marina with water, power, and boat lifts contingent upon permitting and engineering, to authorize the town manager to procure engineering services for design and permit the project. Also to authorize the town manager to execute the contract and issue a notice to proceed once permitting and engineering are complete, and to authorize the manager to approve change orders not exceeding 10% of the contract amount.
I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion?
I only got one question. Can we change the performance of payment bonds to required instead of not required? We're going to go the full amount, please, 263.
So it was bid like that, and I would prefer to Brett on this, but since it was bid like that, we can.
It would need to add that to the cost.
I'm asking just in case, since we're going 260 and change, would we want to have in our repertoire a performance bid in case something happens? Bond.
You certainly can, and that will protect the town in the event that they didn't perform the work. The issue is they're going to pass that cost along to the town. So there's a benefit and a detriment across the board.
I know there's a motion and a second, but I'm going to throw one thing at you, Gene. Are you prepared, you and Ryan, to oversee daily operations on the construction of that to make sure we're getting what we're paying for?
Yes, sir. He and I'll be down there multiple times a day while it's under construction.
Oh, okay.
Watching that.
So do we have the money to pay these guys?
So what you would do, you have to take this money out of fund balance. It's not in your operating account.
We have it available?
So you have about 1.4 million in your fund balance right now. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we talked about this last time. I think this is a really good idea. I think we did a good job, or Gene, you did a good job with, dividing it up, base bids and alternates. I kind of agree with Commissioner Martin. I think we just do the full thing and go ahead and get it done, and hopefully we can start to see some revenue from this. So I think this is a great idea.
All right, any more discussion? If not, we have a motion and second. All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, next up is a request for a Cape Carteret, the Western Carteret County zip code.
So I know this has been discussed a great deal for a lot of years, but it most recently came to light that there was a strong possibility that we were not receiving all of our sales tax revenue because of the zip code issue. Online sales, that potentially some of that sales tax revenue, because we share a zip code with neighboring Swansboro and Onslow County, was being directed there instead of here.
It's not just online sales. If you go buy something at Lowe's, your 285 is going to sponsor your sales tax, is what I was told.
Right. So the county, we reached out to the county and they researched the issue with the Department of Revenue as well. And what they were telling us is it does look like they agree with us. There's a strong possibility that is in fact occurring. I think that will be before the county commissioners shortly, and I feel like they'll support this effort. Before you tonight, there's a resolution. That resolution is the first step in this process, and it's the town requesting that. I've also, the mayor has talked with the mayors of Cedar Point, Bogan, Pelletier, and gives indications that they support this action as well. And I would say that we need to ask for this for Western Carteret County. I think a lot of the justification is the fact as well, as fast as this area is growing, that it's even more justifiable to do this. So there are a couple of points that the Postal Service dictates. They're captured in this resolution. And if you see fit to adopt it tonight, I'll make sure this gets turned around into them when we start that process.
Yeah, all the other mayors agree, and I think Cedar Point, they approved it in their resolution, the last meeting they had.
I did share the resolution with other towns.
Yeah, so everybody's on board with it, and it just makes sense why we don't hate money. So I think it's a great idea. And whether we get our own post office or we at least partner with them, at least be in our own county, and so we wouldn't be missing the sales part of it. I thought it was pretty funny when I got that thing in the mail from Brightspeed, wanting me to hook up. I go online and they won't let me put in Cape Carteret. It's like it's one girl or nothing. I'm like, okay, well here's a perfect example. So I sent that to the county, and I was very impressed with Sharon and how she jumped on that. So I was very happy with the information she got back so quickly.
Well, I'm really happy about this, because I've been arguing about this for a long time.
You mentioned it right out the gate.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah.
But once we started bringing money into this equation, things started to happen. People got interested in it.
I'm all for it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution. Requesting the executive.
Okay, and I'll let you win first. All right, all in favor? All right, thank you. Next up is a planning board workshop, ordinance updates.
Yeah, so this is just the informational item tonight. So I've been going through the last 6 months of ordinances. Again, one of the first things that was mentioned to me is our UDA and updating the UDA. And you really have to administer something a little while before you pass judgment, because you run into those situations. So I know that my staff have been kind of documenting those situations that we run into, and kind of figure out where everything is. So overall, the UDO, I would say it's not the worst I've ever seen. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. It is in a position that we can amend it and make it a workable document. It does take some amendments. I've talked to some of the planning commission members about this as well, and I think the right step forward, again, this is just informational more than anything. I think the right step forward is to hold those meetings in a workshop session with them initially. Eventually, it'll make its way to the board of commissioners. But I think those workshop sessions, you get a lot more questions, you get a lot better questions, you get a lot better in depth because of the nature of those meetings. And so I'd like to start scheduling those in December with the planning commission. Also, this club has been on board for a lot of years and can provide a lot of good history of how we got here. But again, the UDO is very typical of one that was written by a third party, and it's kind of a boilerplate UDO. It just needs to be amended and taken to the town. That's the biggest thing I see. I've done this for 20 some years now directly, and that's the biggest thing I see with this UDO. We just wanted to give you an update on that, since that's something we've all talked about here over the last couple of months.
So when you have a workshop, is it like an hour meeting, or is it like 4 hours? How does that work?
So I would prefer it not be 4 hours. Typically, these workshops, the agenda for this will be discussed in the UDO. So it's whatever they want to discuss. I'll have some things that I want to discuss about it that I think need to be amended. Typically, don't go over 2 hours. You lose people's attention really quick. The other thing I'd like to charge y'all with, I know all of y'all haven't been very involved with this in the past. Anything that you see, call me, email me, talk to me, so that we can kind of integrate that in and get it really complete. I just don't think the right way is to pick at it month by month. and make amendments here.
Mhm.
Because all you know, when you change something here, it oftentimes affects something here. I'm not saying we've done that. What I'm saying is you've got a high probability of doing that if you take that approach. I think this is a better approach.
Can we resurrect the list that was given to the former town manager being the UDL? That's what it's so hard on by several members of not only this board, but past boards.
Absolutely, absolutely. So anything you see over the next couple of months, if you just mention it, we're going to work that direction.
All right. All right, next up is Fall Festival and future town events. Commissioner Ritchie wanted to have that at, so you got the floor, sir.
Thank you. Spending many days out at the polls, you learn a lot about people. And we had a gentleman out there with a lot of excitement. And his name's Eric Latana. Am I saying that correct, Eric?
Not at all.
Won't be the first time or the last time you correct me. And he had a wonderful idea. And I asked him if I could approach Gene with the idea for Fall Festival next year. And that would be, he would like to see us incorporate a town parade before the Fall Festival. It would require going out to the local businesses, Marine Corps, high school bands, and put together, to start with, a small parade. I don't know how long it would be, but something to give the town pride. And accurate with that, Eric?
Yes, sir.
And I'll yield to Eric if he has any other ideas as the one of the next incoming commissioners, Mr. Martin.
And for the record, Eric, tell people how to pronounce your name.
Platania.
I think that's what I thought.
Did I miss anything?
You weren't alone in that, John. You weren't alone in that.
But Gene thought it was a great idea. And so I would like to see that incorporated into next year's platform. I will be more than happy to call on local businesses to get their support. And also, the other part of the thing is I want to see us bring back the music that we play in May, June, July, and August. Seaside Arts Council is not interested in doing anything. I've been in contact with 2 former members of the council, and they are considering helping us by lining up bands. When I worked with them 2 years ago, I raised, I think it was $12,000 to $13,000 for the festival. I would like to see a $6,000 budget next year to start, maybe 3 events. Then Gene had some ideas as to what we can incorporate with our music festivals. One of the ideas I came up, and Gene planted the seed in my head, and he said, well, Alive at 5 in Moorhead City is a happening event. I said, well, let's make it Alive at 5 at the Cape, or in the Cape. And Gene thought that was great. Maybe instead of starting at 6:30, start at 5 o'clock, offer food trucks, beer tent. I know not what you want to hear, but it will be well monitored. And I think it would also produce a little cash for our budget in the long run. Those are the 2 ideas that I'd like the board to consider, and I'll entertain any discussion.
Well, John, I'll do you like Dave Fowler did me 7 years ago. You want a parade, right?
I'll
So you'll head up the committee. So you'll do all the work, right?
I will be more than happy to do all the work. Because I know I got a partner in crime out there somewhere.
Anything we can do to enhance things without putting more burden on the staff, I'm all for.
Heather, how you feel about it? Seriously. Hey, this has been your baby for 7 years, 8 years.
I think the parade is a great idea. It would be a lot of going on. Because it takes a lot of planning to do the fall festival. I mean, we've got the run. But we're open to ideas.
Yeah,
I think if any parade, that it should be a Christmas parade, probably something totally different from the fall festival.
Thinking how to make the fall festival better, Steve.
I understand.
So one of the things that we're gonna have to do if we expand any on this is it's gonna be incumbent that we have some volunteerism to help with this. Being a small staff, and this staff is just a jam up job. I can't say enough about what Kesley did this year, planning fall festival, putting it together. A lot of that was solely her with some support from Heather and I, but a lot of that was Kesley. But I will tell you, we had an after action after fall festival. Just sitting in the room, and say, hey, what do we do really good? What can we improve on? And one of the things we said, and that all of us agreed on, was if we're going to expand what we do that day, we're going to have like volunteers help us. So volunteers sure were wonderful, I think, and I got a little just brief blurb in my manager's report on that, and just thanking them again for all that they did and the positive that happened there. But all that said, it's going to be incumbent if we expand the event that day that we have volunteers. We quickly figured out that we could do multiple places at once. So
I apologize. I didn't realize I signed up for driving the golf cart during the fall festival as well as,
you did great.
yeah, but I feel I let the boys down in the shop. Sorry, Ryan. That's all I got to say.
All right, well, we'll see if we can get some improvements made. Well, now we're back to you.
All right.
Town manager report.
I'll be brief. Just wanted to say again, I just said it, I'll say it again. Everybody did such a great job at Fall Festival. I can't tell you the number of comments that I got from the public about how wonderful it was and how well everything went. And again, Kesley and Heather did an outstanding job with that. And, everybody else that volunteered and the rest of the staff, Ryan, his crowd, Chief Silva, his staff, everybody did just a remarkable job, and that was really good. The dedication was very touching down at the reflection area. Commissioner Mark, Commissioner Ritchie, everybody else that participated, that was just very touching. What a good thing for the town to do. Moving on, next curbside vegetative debris collection is December 8th. So we're already starting to see some piles out on the road. I've made my way around to the ones that I received complaints on, just reminding folks not to push stuff out too early. So working on that. One of the things that we've heard multiple times is on the trail, bollards and stop signs in these intersections. And so Ryan and them went ahead and ordered those. So we continue to have trouble with people driving on the trail. I don't understand. Apparently it's an issue for some people. So we've ordered bollards and stop signs for the pedestrian traffic at the crossings.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Yes, sir.
What's our stance on these electric bikes that can go 35 and 40 miles an hour on the trail
So
that are operated by children that are of age to operate a motor vehicle?
So the state, there's a blog, Brett can get into this, Brett actually sent it to you this week, and so you and I hadn't had a chance to talk about that, but there is some like new information that's just kind of coming out. So the ones that are 35 and older and over are considered mopeds, so they're a legitimate motor vehicle. So I don't think they will be allowed on the trail. I mean, they are a motor vehicle. The problem then comes in and just kind of unravels a little bit more. There's got to be some like designation on these things. So the ones that are, you correct me where I'm wrong. So the ones that are 20 miles an hour under and less than 750 watts, I think is what it says, those are considered just like a bicycle. They're just like any other bicycle. So I think going forward, if we witness those running 35 on the trail, it's very clear that that's not a bicycle. I think those are, in my mind, those aren't allowed on the trail. Ones that are 20 under are kind of safe, just like a bicycle.
The state is also trying to figure out a way to regulate as well, so sort of waiting and see what the state comes up with. Because you're going to see a lot of people that now, like the ones that get DWIs, they got to have a license and all that for the mopeds. Why do I do that when I can just get one of these e-bikes and avoid all that? So there's a lot of things the state's going to try to hammer out. We're just waiting to see what they're going to do before we do anything.
I think a lot of places are kind of building that plane while they're flying.
Right.
See what the state's coming out with. So, but it was very good to see that from the school government, a blog on that, some more information. So we know that that's kind of in the hopper and they're thinking about it. So, boat ramp pass sales were on sale last week. We've sold 50 of them. I think it's exactly 50 of them. As of this afternoon, it might be 51, still 50, still 50. So we sold 50 of them. We've got a lot of positive comments about that, about it being in-town residents, about having 2 boat ramps. There's lots of positives surrounding that. So I just wanted to mention that. The Christmas tree lighting is Monday, December 1st. We're coordinating with the Girl Scouts on that. Of course, that's right out here in front of the Girl Scout building. So excited for that. Some hot chocolate Santa Claus is always.
It's always fun. Everybody come.
Always fun. Lastly, town hall's closed for Veterans Day tomorrow and Thanksgiving. We close the 27th and 28th. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Any questions for Gene? If not, we'll move on to commissioner reports. We'll start with Commissioner Martin.
Yeah, I got a little brief political statement I want to make here. Tonight, I want to thank the voters that voted for me. I also want to thank my campaign team for their hard work and tenacity. And despite a whisper campaign against me by one of my colleagues and a county elected official, the voters in Cape Carteret were not fooled. The whisper campaign was an attempt to create false narratives and misinformation. All this did was to ignite my team and myself to work harder and go the extra mile to deliver the facts to the constituency before they voted. I feel as if this election was a referendum on my effectiveness as a commissioner, and the top vote accolade is truly a humbling experience to be reelected by an overwhelming majority. I do not take this privilege for granted. I want to congratulate Eric and David for earning the trust of the voters of Cape Carteret, and I stand ready to work with them to keep our town a great place to live. I also want to thank Cameron and Charlie. It's been a pleasure working with both of you for the last 4 years. Make no mistake, you will be missed, and you both have served the town well. That's all I have.
All right. Charlie?
For all of you that are out there, happy birthday. That's all I have to say.
Is it me?
It's you, John.
I want to wish Steve, Eric, and Mr. Monroe congratulations. I agree with Steve's political statement, and I hate to be dragged into it, but I was. And I just want to say one thing, life's a long time. I want to thank citizens that came out this evening. I want to thank the police chief, Ryan, police officers, Kesley, doing a great job. Other than that, I hope that we can put aside our differences, make our town better, and all work together rather than try to work against each other. Thank you.
All right, Courtney?
All right, this is gonna be positive, guys. Nothing else negative here. All right, we've had a busy month, and there's so much stuff. But I wanted to get the little kid that ran in the race. How old was he? He almost be all those adults.
I think he was like 6 or
Yeah.
7.
Dude, he's going places. That little kid,
He smoked it.
he smoked it. And it was so much fun. And I hope more people come next year and wear your costumes. But the weather was perfect for every event we've had, and the turnout's been great. So I mean, it's just great to see all that. And then the ribbon cutting for the trail and the dedication of Memorial, it was very emotional for a lot of people, and it was a good closure for a lot of people too. So a lot of hard work went into that. And Steve and John Ritchie, they did a great job with that. Excellent. And then as a precinct chair and poll observer, I got to sit inside and hear a lot of the citizens come in and talking about the zip code, the towns. People were confused what town they lived in, and it was just kind of like what precinct we're in. So that's another issue we have in this area. People aren't aware of where they're at. Vote. So some confusion whether they were in a municipality or not. So they know how to sponsor address on their license, but they live in Belvedere or they live in Cedar Point. So that's another obstacle here. And something else that we're doing, I'm leading the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign. And I know there's some people in here that ran last year, Mayor Baker and Danny, and we had fun doing that, dress it up and pack some. She said, "Oh, you're about right." Anyhow, we're gonna start that on Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving till Christmas. So if anybody wants to sign up, ring the bell, see me, we'll get it started. And Jeff, welcome to our team. Glad to have you. And lots of good things about the works. I know, I hope you dressed it up because we got a lot of Christmas decorations.
We're ready. We're ready.
I've already started my house.
I bet.
All right.
It'll be good, too.
That's it.
All right, Cameron.
All right, so I think this is my last commissioner report, so I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you to all the townspeople that put me here. I want to say thank you to the town staff. You know, each one of you, it's so, you know, important to work with each of you and to be able to have since we have such a small town, to have a town staff that's so willing to do things. You know, one day I was talking to Ryan about some potholes, and then I'm talking with Heather about, you know, something else. So it's everybody plays their role, and it's just so important that we all, as citizens, appreciate that and actually tell them thank you. Because while you may not be the phone call that is, you know, kind of frustrated and is rude to them, you can be the one that kind of changes their day around, and just by saying thank you to them. So please, everyone, you know, just be kind to our town staff. I think it's, you know, having been up here 4 years now, I've seen a little bit behind the scenes, and it's just, they're people just like us, and it's so important that that we appreciate them. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to this board. You know, we don't always agree on everything, but that's why we're up here. This is kind of what you get when you put 5 type A people in one room and make them decide on something, you know, in public. So a lot of angst, yeah, and you know, frustrations that go on in this room, but all of these people are our neighbors. We all live in the same town, so you know, we got to sort of get along to some extent. So that's all I have. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Charlie and Cameron for being on board. You gave the town the most valuable thing you both possess, and that's your time. I say that a lot, but it's so important because that's the only thing we really have control of is our time. We like to think we have control of that, but it's so valuable, and there's nothing more valuable than have people donate that time to the town and bring what you offer to the town in your own services. Just can't thank you enough. Thank you for doing it. And Eric, thank you. And I want to congratulate Eric, Steve, and David didn't show up, is he? Mr. Monroe, not here anyway. Thank them for running, and we'll have a new board initiated next month. Looking forward to that. And once again, I can't say enough about our awesome staff. Even Jeff showed up and helped work Fall Festival, and just great job. So many compliments about that, how well it was, and the people we had show up. Just a beautiful day. And hopefully we can, as John was wanting to do, is elaborate on make it even more better every year. That's what we try to do. I'd like to give a big shout out to my neighbor Michael Carter, who was the unofficial best show we had when she was coming up. His is it? I guess it's Sasquatch. Is it Sasquatch? 10-foot Sasquatch. He was amazing. I don't see how he did it, walking around in that costume all day long. What a great weekend. We had a great time here. And with that, I'm going to shut up and let somebody please make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Cameron, okay, all in favor. All right. And thank you guys for coming here. Sure town.